Alrighty, tidbit done there. I have to tell you that today we are going to be having someone who really knows about boxing because last weekend was not really good for Nigeria, especially in boxing. Never mind the fact that Anthony Joshua represents Britain, but we all do know that he has Nigerian blood running strong in his veins. And you also know that Nigerians always back Anthony Joshua anytime he gets into the ring. It was another disappointing moment for Nigerians when he lost again the second time against Usyk. Oleksandr Usyk, the Ukrainian who really knows how to defeat Anthony Joshua. But Nigerians were very much involved over last weekend, getting to see what was happening in Saudi Arabia, Jeddah precisely, and it wasn't really a good result. And now many Nigerians have been talking about Joshua and what is the way forward for him, and how did it happen? What made it so difficult for Anthony Joshua to deliver, and what should we expect from him? Nigerians are interested, and today we are bringing someone who is very well educated, very well versed as far as boxing is concerned, the pugilistic fistic trade. He is an expert, nonetheless, commentator, sports analyst, and not more. Chief executive of Brila Sports, professional in the business as far as sports management is concerned. We're talking here of Dr. Larry Izamoje. Dr. Izamoje, it's really good to have you join us on Sports Extra on AIT today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, Dr. Larry Izamoje, I would like to start by asking you what your expectations were in the run-up to the Usyk Joshua Part 2 in Jeddah.
We expected Joshua to correct some perceived mistakes from the first fight. We expected him to be more aggressive and do aggression in a perfectly timed way. Not just being aggressive, but doing it in a perfectly timed way. We also expected Joshua to use his physical attributes. We expected Joshua to be the brawler on the night, to drag the man into a slugfest and not allow him do normal boxing. But all that, Joshua did not seem to get right. So the expectations are clearly, use your physical advantages. Joshua had 3 inches advantage in height and 4 inches in reach. So we expected him to use the reach to keep the man at bay, to keep him away. And of course the height to stand where the man cannot head hunt. So he was expected to do things we really didn't see.
Joshua, in the reckoning of many, performed much better. He put up a much better performance against Usyk in Jeddah than he did in the first encounter between them in London. Is it a case of Usyk being just too good for Joshua, or the fault is in Joshua himself not being able to come up with the right technical and tactical decisions that would or should have helped him to win the bout?
Usyk appeared to be too good because Joshua came out with a defective fight strategy. We expected Joshua from the very first bell to show aggression, to use his physical attributes, like I told you. But Joshua did not do that. Rather, he allowed Usyk to find his gear, to find his rhythm, to be the one dictating the pace, to find the first foot. And in boxing, once you find the first foot, you make your man fight on the back foot. And so that was what happened. Now, if you look at it all, you find that Joshua really did what he should have done from the start in the 8th, when he was able to do some body punches in combos that rattled Usyk, so that he held the ref and looked at his corner. And because of the impact of what happened in the 8th, preparing him for what he was going to do in the 9th, Joshua came out in the 9th and was able to get his best round of the fight. If Joshua had done what he did in the 9th, coming out early, punching, showing that he's the brawler, showing that it was a slugfest, if he had done that from the 1st, perhaps to the 6th, he would have had an early night. It showed that that man was worried in the ninth round. But again, because of poor stamina, our man gassed out after the ninth round and gave away the championship rounds 10, 11, 12. Because again, the application of strategy was flawed. The gains that he should have manifested, the physical attributes, paled into insignificance. Did you see the reach advantage? Did you see the height advantage? Joshua's major advantage, apart from the physical, in terms of what he trained for, and partly the physical, his right hand. How many times did he throw the right hand? He was also being calculative like Usyk. In this kind of fight, you do what J.J. Rollins, God bless his soul, told Azuma Nelson many years ago when he wrote to the Ghanaian boxer when he was doing a world title fight. Die, man, die. So when you want to get back your belts from this kind of boxer who is very good, feinting, moving the head, moving the leg, moving everywhere, you've got to point the body. You've got to point the body. Purists told Joshua that in the year 2006, Korobov was able to drop Usyk because of body punches. The ref jumped in and stopped the fight. It was a TKO in the amateur ranks. In 2011, it was Bebetil who was able to drop him with a body punch. And in 2013, Marujov dropped him with a body punch. And so Joshua should have landed body punches in bundles, and that way things would have gone well for Joshua. Yes, he had a good fight, better than he fought in the last 4 times. But again, the strategy, he was still headhunting. How do you headhunt a man whose head is never there?
The way things stand now, it is a source of worry, concern for Britons and Nigerians. Does Joshua stand a chance of working himself back to the top? What next for him?
Yes, there is a way back for Joshua. It's not over. There is still a way back for Joshua. And he too has said it, that he's not retiring. But the way back has to be carefully planned. It must be well thought out. It has to be strategic. And he has to now start picking his fights. But before picking his fights, the very first thing is to see his doctors. See his doctors and be sure that nothing happened because of the way he behaved after the last bail and when it dawned on him that he had lost. He has to see his doctors to be sure that he's well again, fully fit again. Thereafter, not rush into the ring to get a psychologist who will now manage him so that he can truly face life without his belts. He did not really do so when he lost the belts because there was still hope that he would win the belts back facing Usyk. Now Usyk has the belts. Usyk is not returning. Joshua threw the belts down. People will now tag Joshua as somebody who dried out, using Queen's English, right there in the ring. Somebody who stole the moments of Usyk, like so many have said. And so a psychologist is needed to motivate him again, to kill the pains that he carries emotionally and psychologically so that Joshua will now be in the right frame of mind to return to the fistic trade. And when he does return to the fistic trade, Joshua has to start picking his fights. It is not the time to look at the big fights anymore. He can't do that if he now decides to just keep making money and not becoming a champ in a way, or not. So the risk, if he goes that way, more money, but you will be beaten or may be beaten again. How can he do that? One, he can call out Tyson Fury and say, let's do the best of England. So who is the best fighter in England? I was a champ, you are a champ. We're both from England. Let's know who the best in England is. He can also do a fight with Deontay Wilder. Wilder has a fight October 15th against Helenos. He can call out Wilder and say, Usyk beat me twice, Fury beat you twice. They both will go for the unification bout. Can we then give 1-2 to them and say who will be number 3 in the world? So Joshua and Wilder, that would be a big offense draw. There's also something he can do by calling Ruiz and say to Ruiz, come let me beat you twice like Usyk beat me twice. So once Ruiz beat him, once he has beaten Ruiz, so he can do a third fight with Ruiz and do a number 2 by beating Ruiz. Another thing he can do is to call out Joseph Parker and say, Parker, come, let me do a number 2 on you, like number 2 was done on me by Usyk. And then beat Parker, who he beat in 2018. And that will be 1-2 in favor of Joshua. He can also say, Otto Wallin, let me fight you to get the bragging rights against Tyson Fury. Otto Wallin was a guy who caused Fury to receive 47 stitches after their fight for him to come back to normalcy again. And so he can call Otto Wallin and do a fight with Otto Wallin, beat Otto Wallin, and regain some confidence, bragging rights in England to say, yes, I lost my belt, but the guy who gave you 47 stitches, I've just beaten. Another thing he can do is to fight Luis Ortiz and say to Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz almost knocked you down, I have beaten Luis Ortiz. These are fights he can do, but another one he can do, which I just remembered, he can also go down and fight Dillian White. Dillian White beat him when he was in the amateur ranks. He beat Dillian White once as a pro, and this time he can call Dillian White out, beat Dillian White, and that would be a number 2 on Dillian White. So he can also say, I lost 2 fights in a row. I've beaten people, making them lose 2 fights in a row. And that way people will start respecting him again. Or if he doesn't want to do that, and which is what I prescribe, go very, very low and start picking on smaller fighters. People like Michael Hunter, Jerry Miller, fighters who you know you are sure you will beat. Martin Bakole, formerly of the Congo, now of the UK. There are so many of them there. Dubois. So he can pick from that range and start Hegovic. He can pick from that range people who will give him a good test, but at the end of the day, if he shows what he showed against Usyk, he's sure to win.
All right, we see how that pans out, how it will come to be. But away from Joshua now, let's talk about the heavyweight class. Yes, it is looking like another big payday is upon us, is coming. Yes, it will come because we heard that the man Tyson Fury dismissed both Joshua and Usyk as fighters he would have beaten on the same night without a problem. And with Usyk calling out on Fury after beating Joshua the second time, are we looking forward to another really blockbuster, chat-busting fight between Usyk this time and Fury? Many are seeing that coming. Do you see that coming as well, Larry?
Sure, we have some big fights lined up. It will be a very big fight. Usyk against Fury. Very, very big fight. And the talk for now is maybe December this year. And if it doesn't work, February next year, hopefully. Very big fight it will be. But before that big fight, boxing also has a lot to offer because Wilder will be returning October 15 in New York against Helenos, the very tall Helenos. Also, we have Joe Joyce taking on Joseph Parker. And there's also the big fight, Andy Ruiz against Luis Ortiz. These are top boxers. These are guys who can always draw the crowd, a lot of pay-per-view buys and others. But clearly, they come short of a fight, Tyson Fury, Usyk, for the unification of the world title. How that fight will go, Fury is the one who we tip to win because Fury is seasoned beyond his years. Fury's pin code has not been revealed, and nobody has the kind of ring craftsmanship that Fury has. Fury is very tall. Fury knows how to throw the head backwards when you want to do the kind of combos that the guy tried against Joshua. And so we tip Fury to win. It will be a big fight, and because Usyk is not a very good body puncher, when you face that kind of very tall guy with the loss of height and reach advantage, we see him trying to go to the body and he would lunge to get to the head, to head hunt, and will make mistakes. And like Deontay Wilder will tell you, when you miss against Tyson Fury, it makes you pay. So we tip Fury to become the unified heavyweight title holder of the world.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Larry Izamoje. We appreciate your time with us, your analysis on boxing and every other sport, always the sport on very insightful analysis at the erudite perspectives as far as this is concerned. We are really delighted we had you, and we look forward to having you again very soon. And we do hope you will oblige us, Dr. Larry.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, that was Dr. Larry Izamoje, the Chief Executive Officer of Brilla Sports, and somebody you have to know that talks sports with a passion, and he is one that gives you an insightful perspectives on issues around sports. We will be looking to have him more frequently